Hey, welcome to another Valley Forged. It is my honor and pleasure to be reviewing the Longer B1 30-watt laser. Anybody who has watched the channel for a while realizes I am a big fan of Longer. They came out of nowhere, wasn't expecting anything. Even when I got the machine, you know, their old machine was just off-the-shelf parts looking. Having already had one that was off the shelf that didn't work that well, it was hard to put together. I really wasn't expecting much, but it overperformed in almost every way for me. I ended up using it for most of my production that I was doing at the time, just because it worked. It was consistent. And the kerf was just so tiny that the pieces just came out like puzzle pieces. They would tightly fit back together. I have never seen another diode, not even 5.5 watt, that was so snug. And I was really impressed with the unit. Have I mentioned that? So I do have a link below for the old machine. If you know, the 20 watt, it's a great machine. And if the price is right, you know, you really should pay attention to what the prices are. And that's going to be also with this machine. Spoiler alert, I've already done all this. This is after, and I'm, filming the beginning at the end, if you will. But a few things were not the greatest about the old machine. You couldn't go really fast. So although it had the 20 watts of power, 6,000 millimeters per minute was pretty much all you were going to get. I started getting squiggly lines. It just wasn't built to handle that much speed with such a large module. And so now we look like we've upgraded everything. It's 36,000 millimeters per minute. And that makes a huge difference. Also, the working area of this is 550 by 540. So you're getting a much bigger work area than most of the lasers out there. They really have done a nice job. So I'm gonna kind of take a slow stroll through this thing, from unboxing it to, I didn't put it together in this video because I'll talk to you about that later. I don't reinvent the wheel, but along your process of putting this together, I'm going to point out a lot of important things that I learned that you're not gonna learn from the other video or from the instruction manual, so I think it is important. Yes, it's long, but I go over lots of little tips and different things during the video, and I think that it's worth it. So if you are considering buying a Longer B1 30 watt, I would say definitely watch this video all the way to the end. I'm going to point out a lot, and if I talk way too slow for you, you can always just speed it up. But important video, and this is a really nice machine, so I hope you will take a look. All right, I will see you soon. So I'm really looking forward to trying out the B1 30 watt here and see if it performs similarly, but yet faster. And of course, with a little more power. You know, if you have a 20 watt that goes 50,000 millimeters per minute, it's really not going to be useful because it's not powerful enough to use at that speed. Whereas this one is, I believe, 30,000 millimeters per minute, and we'll check on that. But that's probably all usable speed. I think that's a good speed. And it's enough to do production, and that's kind of the main thing. My only actual concern out of the box is this. It, doesn't seem like much of a air assist, but once you have an air assist that shuts off when you're not using it by light burn, you will never want to go back. It is such an amazing feature, and this one has it. So let me unbox this, and through the magic of everything, I'll put it all on the table, and then we'll start over, and I'll show you everything, and we'll get it put together, see how easy it is. Okay, now we see we should have everything out of the box right now. What I like and what I don't like right away, everything looks like it fits together very easily, and they do have steps. That is really cool. Some of the other manufacturers are starting to do that. Really like that. Extra lens, that is really nice. Never actually saw another manufacturer do that. Maybe that some of them do. Glasses, no, wrong color. Probably not that great for a diode laser. Probably really good for CO2. A lot of manufacturers send those out. Any fans of the channel know my favorite glasses from the Ortour Laser Master 3. Now I hear they don't always give these, so don't buy a Laser Master 3 just to get them, but they're so comfortable and they're really nice. But yeah, so you'll definitely check. There are some experts out there that'll tell you which laser glasses to get, or definitely put it behind a red or orange. Acrylic will help. From the tests that I've seen anyway. Don't call me an expert on that. This, of course, is supposed to protect you as well. I'm sure it works well, but I'm going to be taking this off anyways. This is here, we'll pull that off. Yeah, this whole thing will come out with a few screws. I'm not sure if you can see in there because it's so dark, but a couple of screws will take this out. I did that with the 20 watt and it worked great, so this wasn't a problem. I personally just like to be able to see where the laser is hitting at all times. It's just my thing. What else? So from what I've seen, the instructions are pretty good. It's a very easy laser to put together, so we'll go over that when we do. Anything else here to be concerned about or to think about? I don't think so. So let's get on to the build. Got it all put together. I will post a video down below for Roger's shop. He went through the trouble of showing a detailed assembly of this machine, and there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. But I will note a couple of things that he did not. So it is good to watch both videos. If you're using Lightburn, and I hope you are, if you try and automatically find the machine, it will do it, but it's probably going to pick the wrong machine. It's going to come up with GRBL M3. You want just GRBL. So don't do that. Just set it up manually. You can use the same settings. It just should be in GRBL. That's one notice. I have not turned on this machine yet, so we're going to do it together. Another thing that I would note is it comes with this, which is airflow, and that is really great. In fact, I wish all of them came with something like this. But from what I've seen, this is limiting the airflow. And I've got an airflow meter coming at the end of the week, so we'll test it with or without this. I took it off because the company did say they're sending different size hoses and they were having less or more pressure. Because of that, I didn't quite get it. But I think one of the main things that you're going to deal with is this. I want to make sure I get as much pressure as I can. Now, this does turn on and off through Lightburn, which is super nice. But some things I wanted to show over here. You can see right here, this is a proprietary cable that goes from here into the machine so that you can control it. I'm not the hugest fan of this type to begin with, but now you're kind of stuck with it as far as I can see. Everything is put together. There's no way to change it. Now you can run your own, of course, but then you're going to have to turn it on and off yourself. Not going to do it through Lightburn. So if you're going to be happy with this, which I'm sure it works fine, I just have a better one. So, and I'd like to turn it on and off through Lightburn. So I will go ahead and use this one because, again, that ability to turn on and off your air through Lightburn, once you've done it, it's amazing. Now, but the question I have is, will this automatically turn off when I'm not using it? Because that's a bigger deal than having this turn on and turn off. So let's just see. I mean, I'm starting to get spoiled with all these things, but from what I have seen, this is a very loud fan, and it would be nice if it's not running when you're not using the machine. So, all right, we're going to turn this on together. Now, the key shows that if you turn it left is red. Does that mean on? Usually you turn the key right for on. So we're going to find out if that's true. You're going to turn this to the right to make sure that it's up. See, it could be snapped down. You want to make sure that's up. And it looks like everything should be ready. So I'm going to go ahead and just turn it on and see what happens. Okay, scared me for a minute. So, yes, you are going to want it to turn it to the right as a normal key. The red is actually off. Now, luckily, nope, you can't. You cannot take these keys out once it's on, and that is too bad. And the fan is pretty darn loud. Now, that fan shouldn't be on because it's not working, so that means we are going to have a fan full time. Now, once I put it in the case, that might be a lot less loud, but something to think about longer. You have really improved in so many ways. There's just a couple of things I'd like to see done differently, and I will name those. Here, let's bring this back over here. I think the lighting is a little better. Okay, that's that. I'm going to go ahead and set this up, and then we'll try and get it to go somewhere. Okay, we are back at the Longer in the Aether case. That's the one that will fit it, by the way. I mean, this is a very big laser. As a matter of fact, the working area, it's like 450, something close to that. So it is quite a bit bigger than even the Aether 36 watt that I have, even though the footprint is about the same. Now, the thing is you're going to need a bigger honeycomb bed. So that's a 500 by 500, what they say. It's really 460 by 460. So that's good. The two trees, which I will be going over in the next episode. So, yeah, I'm going to do a simple cut test, but I wanted to show you the difference between how loud it is. So this is me looking into the machine, how loud that fan is, and then when you put this on, how much better. So yes, it's still a bit loud, but that is so much better. So let's go ahead and run this, see what we can get. And as you can see, I'm running this, hopefully you can see, from 400, 100 power, all the way to 700 speed and 100 power. Just some little circles, just to see how it does. I'm sure it'll do fine. Yeah, there we go. So the air did turn on, and it's super silent. This thing is, wow, super silent. And it was off before, so I do know that that part is working. Focus gauge, yeah, I don't know if I'm super sold on it. How it doesn't feel super solid, like I know that was the spot. So I'm taking that cover off anyways, and then I'll be making my own focus, which will be in the next video. This really is just a first impressions video, so I'm about to tell you what I like and don't like. I want to run just one basic coaster and with some engraving and cutting, and then I will end this with just everything I think about this laser. I wanted to see the kerf. That's the main thing, so let's check that out. Holy moly. Ha! Well, only one of them didn't barely cut out. Okay, I guess I should have pumped that up a little higher. Kind of figured that was going to be the case. Let's see if we can take this up to the light. Yeah, those are super clean cuts. Okay, so now that we know that's working good, it went all the way up to 650 at 100 on this 8-inch Baltic birch. That's my first try. Okay, so I've done really the initial test. All I did was this little cut test down here and to see where, you know, what I needed to use to cut it out. This is actually the first real test of this, just a little cut and engrave. I could say the air, yeah, it's a little bit dark there, leaving a line. They did mention something about hose size, so I'm going to look more into that. I know it's turning on in Lightburn, which is super cool, but 10,000 millimeters a minute at 50% and 30,000 millimeters a minute at 100%. And I mean, it's pretty easy to see here that this one looks better. 30,000 millimeters per minute at 100% power. It looks good. I think for this particular kind of wood, this is just a bit deep. But I want you to take a look at the clarity. Now, what's the clarity of this one versus this one, right? They're both, I don't know, maybe this light is actually too much light. Got to get used to my new studio setup here. So this one, oh, it's the overhead light that's doing that. That looks really good, though. Straight out of the box. I haven't done any fine tuning at all. And this one. Now, these are things that I did for a job, you know, and that's the main thing is I want to be able to do it faster. You know, that is one of the things that I couldn't do on the Longer Ray5 20 watt. It did amazing work, but it was a bit slow. So that is still something. Well, we'll get into that in a minute. I'm going to give you my likes and dislikes and maybe when you should buy the Longer Ray5 20 watt, this one or something else. So let's get into that. But yeah, I think it looks absolutely fantastic. I don't think you could ask for much better than that right out of the box. Okay, Longer B1 30 watt laser. Thoughts and considerations after just an initial test. I mean, I've just wanted to put it kind of through the paces. I'm very happy with that 30,000 millimeters per minute. Now it's supposed to go, I think, to 36,000. In fact, that's what it says right here. So you could go a little faster, but the fact that on my old Longer, I could not go any sort over 6,000 millimeters per minute without it not looking great. Loved that laser though. So as I'm going about this, I have links in the description for buying these. If the price is right, that Longer S5 20 watt laser is fantastic. If you have a lot of production work to do, if you know you need to get something done and it's gonna be dependable. I just got this one and it's worked perfect so far, but that one had been through a lot of production and done a really great job. So, and the kerf is just butter. It's just so tight. If you look around and for a 20 watt laser, that one really makes sense to you and you don't need incredible speed, I do really recommend it. And I'll have a link down below. Few people have bought it already from my link and I think they're pretty happy. And the person that has my old 20 watt, I think is loving it as well. It's good laser. This one's a little more powerful. You know, that speed is nice. I'm going to say right away, the thing I like, putting it together, not a problem. I am somebody who will put something together wrong if you can do it. In fact, I forgot to put one set of the bolts all the way around. I'm like, why do I have these extra bolts? Because I just didn't watch that step. So I do have a link in the description for putting it together. Had I followed that, I would have done it fine. But easy to put together. I'm really happy these laser companies are getting it. I mean, they're really, so many of them are so easy to put together nowadays. It's really fantastic. So if you're somebody who doesn't want to deal with that, great laser for you. The auto air and light burn, wonderful. That is an option everybody should have. The new design is wonderful. The ease of the build, like I said, it was well thought out. They actually thought about, hey, how am I going to put this together, which is easy for everyone. You know, it has these little feet on the bottom here, which you can twist out to level. It's really well thought out. It worked the first time. You know, there are several lasers that I have tested that didn't work when I first fired it up. That is, it's just really important that everything works as it should right out of the box. The price. Now, as of right now, this is $1,000 on the website. I think it's 1,100 if you were to get it through Amazon. That is a really, really good price for a 30-watt laser that has the newer features, right? And they can go that fast. I don't think there's anything else you can buy in that category for this price. So I would put that as a caveat. You know, who knows when you're going to be watching this video? Check the price. And if it is hundreds of dollars cheaper than the competition, maybe the other ones have some features that you actually won't use, and that's important. The speed, wonderful. Bed size. So this bed size is actually 450 by 440, which is one of the larger footprints that you get. You get a lot more area to work with. Now, saying that, you know, you're going to have to buy a larger enclosure. The ones I mentioned in my last video about enclosures will help you out there and make sure you get the right one. And you will want the 500 by 500 millimeter honeycomb bed. Probably the one I got, the 2 trees. Not sponsored. It's just they make better honeycomb beds, in my opinion. And that's probably the next video I'm going to do, because I have bought some garbage. It doesn't have a bunch of features that I won't use. So there are some on the higher end models that, you know, I just don't end up using those features. I mean, they're great and all. I mean, if we looked at the P2 from Xtool, that new thing they came out with, it has a bunch of features that I'm almost positive most people are not even using. And they are very difficult to use. So think about that when you're, you know, getting a laser. Don't just get all the gadgets and, you know, hey, if they're free and they're not going to hurt you, great. But, you know, you may not want to pay extra for it. The leveling feet I mentioned. So let's get to the stuff I don't like about this machine. And there are a few things. It is the loud fan. I mean, once you have it in an enclosure, especially if you get a good one, sure, it's going to be less, but it is a very loud fan. It probably has a good use, but it should shut off when you're not using it. Come on, Longer, we can do this. I know that it's not that difficult for you to do, and I think that needs to happen on the next one. The proprietary cable for the air assist. What if I want to use something different? I still want to turn it on and off in light burn. This is not, I'm not going to be able to do that. If you had the greatest air pump ever and then you did that, is one thing, but this isn't the greatest one. It's serviceable. It's very quiet, but you know, I think that was an oversight there, whoever decided to do that. But again, it's working in light burn. Good enough. The module cover. This is something that most of us that do reviews have a beef with on a lot of lasers. This tiny little thing, and then you can't really tell where the laser is pointing. And so if you don't have a way to do that, then it's just such a design flaw. I'm really surprised that companies aren't getting it. But fortunately, because this hasn't happened on all of them, fortunately, this does come off. And so you will be able to take this off. I'll have it on in my test videos. You'll be able to see. I'll show you everything. And that's what I had to do with the Longer Ray5 20 watt. It's no problem. And after that, it's a dream. But just get the same one, all clear, you know, all orange acrylic, and you're done. Just do it. The focus knob is kind of tiny and awkward, you know, this thing, and it's right next to the gantry here. I would not do that. I don't know how they would pull it out or do something different here, but it's working fine. I haven't had an issue with that. And the focusing, of course, when I take this off, I'm gonna have to do my own focus, but as cool as this is, I'm not in love with it. But those are my nitpicks, and I want you to think about, hey, you know, are these important to you? Which ones are, which ones aren't? Overall, this is a really, really nice laser, and I am honored to be working with Longer because their products are really great, and I didn't expect that. There's a couple of companies that come out of nowhere and you didn't realize they were going to come out and be the better lasers, and Longer is certainly one of them, and I do appreciate that. That's it for the first one. There'll be much more videos on this, more detailed, and I'll start pitting it up against some of the other lasers and see how it does. But I do like the clarity we got out of my first test at high speed, and that's promising. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Love y'all.